The Chicago Bulls traded into the 2023 NBA draft going up to selection 35, and they ended up selecting Julian Phillips. Now, a lot of Bulls fans have the question and wonder, should the Bulls maybe have gone after somebody different? And one of those players is Emoni Bates. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the reasons why the Bulls should have and the reasons why the Bulls were correct for passing on Emoni Bates. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize. If you want to follow the show, you can do so right off the top at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform that there is. Now, let's go ahead and get into the content for today. So, you guys know, Bulls fan through and through, this is a Bulls channel. And while, we had a video on, the Bulls selecting Julian Phillips and the undrafted rookie that they signed, Adama Sanago, and I'm pretty high on both those players. But a lot of Bulls fans wonder why the Bulls did not go after a need of shooting that they could have gotten in that second round and shored up a possible need for them. Now, there also are reasons to believe that Billy Donovan isn't going to play whoever was selected in the second round, even if they did have a skill set that was needed for the Chicago Bulls, even though I think that we've seen Billy Donovan start Patrick Williams, play Ayo Dosunmu in a heavy role right away. Yes, Marko Simonovic, who may just not be that good, and Dalen Terry, both those players did not get to play very much in their rookie years, and Marco's about to go into his third year in the NBA and hasn't seen very much time on the NBA floor and court at all. But when you look at the fact of the matter is, and I've said this before, one of the reasons I think that the Bulls did not go need with the draft is just strictly the fact of, do you really want to rely on a second round rookie to bring something you absolutely need to your team, or do you hope to go out and shore it up in free agency? But that's not really what we're here to talk about tonight, right? We're here to talk about Emoni Bates, and there are a lot of Bulls fans who have some positives and have some valid reasons on why they think the Bulls should have went after Emoni Bates. And I'm going to talk from both sides of it. Yes, the title of this video is why the Bulls were not wrong for passing on Emoni Bates. But as you guys know, if you've been a follower of the channel, I like to talk about things from both sides just to be fair, right? And so we're going to start off with the positive. One of the reasons why the Bulls probably should have looked at Emoni Bates is just the scoring upside. When you look at Emoni Bates, 6'9", right? It can outright score the ball, and he was looked at coming out of high school as being one of the highest prospects, even drawing comparisons to Kevin Durant. Now, while I don't necessarily agree with those comparisons, but you look at it, right? The fact of the matter is, he attempted almost 8 3-point shots per game playing for EMU in 2022-23. When you have a Chicago Bulls team that's ranked dead last in 3-point attempts and 3-point makes, and I think 3-point percentage as well the last couple of seasons, it's enough of a reason to look at the fact of why did the Chicago Bulls not decide to go after a player with some upside like Emoni Bates when he was sitting right there at number 35, right? He tied 8 other players going 10 of 10 from the free throw line. When you look at it, only Marcus Sasser scored more 3-pointers than him, going 19 of 25 from the 3-point line. And when you look at, for example, the rookie that we did draft, Julian Phillips, who went 16 of 25 in that same combine, but Emoni Bates was second only to Marcus Sasser in that area, and that is, again, one of the reasons why a lot of Bulls fans look at Emoni Bates on top of the upside and wonder, why did the Bulls not decide to go after this young guy who, yes, has had some issues, some off-the-court things, played in a league, for a college team that really didn't face the best competition, but there's enough to look at that and say, right, listen, he brings some height, 6'8", without shoes, so 6'9" when it comes to that, 179 pounds, which is a little bit concerning at that size, but why did the Bulls not go after him? Now, again, like I said, the upside is there, right? And the Cleveland Cavaliers, who end up getting Emoni Bates, if they can get something out of him and he maintains some of his, just his general skill with adding muscle to that frame, may have a heck of a player. But I want to talk about the side that not a lot of people are going to be talking about when it comes to Emoni Bates, and that is why the Chicago Bulls weren't wrong for passing on Emoni Bates. When you look at Emoni Bates, let's just be real. Again, I presented the positives. I'm going to present the negatives here as well. I'm going to be very open and honest. Emoni Bates scored some of the lowest of his position. He had the shortest wingspan of any player taller than 6'7" in this draft. His max vertical of 32 inches was only more than 8 other players in the draft combine. And when you look at the time, as far as 349 time, right? As far as a sprint, it's a 3/4 sprint across the court. He was last among every player in the draft combine. And what that says is Emoni Bates is not a next level athlete at all. Now that does not still mean that Emoni Bates can't find a way to be productive at the next level, but he's going to have to refine his skills and his basketball IQ enough to take advantage, because I tell you what, Emoni Bates does not have he's a lower end of the league athlete in the NBA. And for a player, we've seen players be able to overcome the lack of athleticism and still be able to be productive players, but they have to have smart basketball IQ. They have to just be smart in every movement they do on the court. And one of the biggest knocks on Emoni Bates is the fact that he is a chucker. Now that could work for him, especially if he learns how to turn into a high efficiency player. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of people are enamored with Emoni Bates, but we have to, with the positives, also talk about the negatives. And in all reality, Emoni Bates is a 6'9" Kobe White who's even less athletic than Kobe White. That's just what it is. Now, again, like I said, that does not mean that he can't still add to his game. It does not mean as the game slows down to him, but you got to look at it, right? When you look at how players get off in the NBA, he's not going to be able to penetrate. He didn't in college because he just does not have the strength to do so. Now, while he does use his arms to be able to get skills, getting 0.7 at the collegiate level, still, that's not enough there even defensively, and he does not have the frame or the wingspan or the athleticism or the lateral quickness when you look at any of those things to even be able to project to be any type of plus defender. Now, again, this is not a complete indictment on Emoni Bates as a person or as a player or as a prospect, I guess is a better way to say. But when you look at the ins and outs, yes, there are a lot of positives there to go for drafting Emoni Bates, but there are just as many red flags on why the Bulls weren't wrong for passing on Emoni Bates. Now, again, this does not mean there aren't other players that were in that area that the Bulls like, again, I'm a G.G. Jackson guy. Love G.G. Jackson. Think the Bulls should have drafted him my personal self. But again, I wanted to talk about Emoni Bates because it seems like a lot of Bulls fans, some that don't even really know the combine, some that just hear that name and hear the upside and just thought, well, why did the Bulls pass on this guy? I wanted to provide a little bit more clarity, if I can get my words out, on that. Let me know what you guys think on that down below. Thank you so much for tuning in to another late night episode of Chicago Bulls Central. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related because of you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.